gang, boys and girls, pimps and simps. Welcome back to the Mac Life, the #1 channel here on YouTube. Today we're back with some optimization tips that have essentially helped me in the last year that I feel have helped me maximize the amount of money I made. And they're basically what I call clutter choices. So stick around. If your goal is to simplify your life from this video, essentially by the end of this video, you're going to simplify your life so that you're not stressing about all these fucking things to do each day. And you can be focused on making more money. And I'm going to give you some tips on doing that as well. So I call this the men's lifestyle hack to making a shit ton of money. And the phrase that I've come up with is what I call a clutter choice. Now, a clutter choice, if you think about the definition of the word clutter, it means things everywhere. And really, when you look at the things that are the most cluttered in your life, they're things that are necessities. They're like, you have to wear clothes. Pretty much, unless you're a nudist, you have to wear clothes. Different clothes are required for different things. You have to wear different, if you're at a job, you have to wear a uniform. If you're, going to the gym, you're probably not going to wear a suit to work out in. There are different occasions for different things, but it's a clutter because different things are needed for different times. Same thing with food. You're probably cluttered each day. You need to eat food. I imagine you need to eat food, I would hope. You have to exercise if you want to stay healthy, and most people chop and change, or they try 12-week crazy diets or fads or plans, and they never get their routine in check. Their house, your house is sometimes cleaner, sometimes it's dirtier. It's a constant fight between. Same thing with laundry. You wear your clothes and you've got to try and remember, have I washed that, put that on. Imagine removing all of that, how much freedom that adds to your brain. And really what I did is I spent a year micro-optimizing all of these things. And I can tell you what, it made life 100% more stress-free. And on top of that, when I went traveling, the inspiration really come from, I was already doing this a bit before, but when I said to myself, I'm going to travel the world, and I went through all of Southeast Asia, I'm off to Europe soon. And I said to myself, I'm going for 5 or 6 months or however long, and I'm just going to live off what I can fit in a bag. When I took that mindset and I said, I have one bag, okay? I had a bag inside of a bag, a backpack inside of a bag, so I actually ended up with 2 bags. But what happened is it made me have to think from a very minimalistic standpoint. And when you're at home, it's a little bit different. You obviously, live a lot of a different lifestyle compared to when you're traveling. However, we can optimize pretty much and remove all the clutter choices so that we can focus on our business. And I really want to tell you why we're doing all this. There's 2 main reasons. Tony Robbins often says, ask yourself, how can I make this better? Most people do things, but they're not professionals at anything. Everything they do is kind of just people don't understand why. And we look at people that have bad behaviors and we can identify that they're bad because they're not very organized in it. And what I mean by that is, if someone says, I just go out and get smashed every weekend and feed my money through the pokies and and gamble it away. And you say, well, why do you do that? And I say, I don't know, it's just the way I've been brought up. You think that person's a fucking dumb cunt. And you sit there thinking, how can they not optimize these things? How could they not sit there and think through that and think, is this healthy? Am I actually gaining anything? But then nearly every task that we do in our day, 80% of it's automatic. Like our food, our clothing, we're constantly just doing shit and we never optimize it. Why do we not optimize it? Imagine instead of it being chaos, it become helpful. Or even just removing the chaos. Even if it wasn't helpful, the chaos is gone. How much more freeing would that be? And this applies to business as well. So we're going to start with lifestyle and then we're going to start with business. But as I said, 2 things, okay? You want to ask yourself, how can I make this better so that you're well prepared? And if you look at people like Tim Ferriss, you know what I mean? Even they have it to the T. Why do they have this lighting? Why do I use these lights? I use this wattage because, more of an orange light produces less of whatever on the Kelvin scale, so it makes it easy to fall asleep at night. More melatonin production. I remove blue lights from da-da-da. They time everything into a T. And so your goal is, at least if we can get 80% of that. And the question I want you to ask yourself before we get into them is, think about it. If you made everything super, super simple and you were focused on one thing with your business, you knew what you were going to wear each day, you knew what you're eating, your workouts, and if you're saying, oh, but I like variety and spontaneity, don't worry, we're going to get to that. But it would be unreasonable to say that if everything was in perfect harmony and all you could do was focus on your business each day and enjoy it, okay, it would be unreasonable that with that much time in each day for your business, in a year from now, or 5 years, or 10 years, people don't want to project that far ahead, but honestly, I reckon about a year. But a year from now, 5 years or 10 years, it would be unreasonable that you wouldn't be making a significant amount of money online, because this really applies to those of you who want to make money online, and more so, clean up the chaos from your life, remove all the stress like I've done. Anyway, let's start with what I believe is kind of an order to these things. Now, the very first thing is clothing. Each day we just kind of wake up, you're not sure what you're putting on, you look outside, you kind of chuck it on, you're like, fuck, maybe I need some new pants soon, maybe I need this, da-da-da, and it's just sloppy, it's unprofessional. If you're to get a list, and it doesn't matter if you can't afford these things even right now, but just write them down so you can understand. And I feel clothing is the easiest because it's pretty much a one-off thing. Like, you got to do it once, maybe each year, or once every 6 months, or whatever it is, okay? It's just a simple thing. And as long as you have a list, okay, it's very, very easy. Now, for clothing, everyone's going to be individual, and everyone's going to be personal the way in which they dress. Maybe you feel comfortable in a suit all the time. Maybe you feel comfortable, like, for me, my ideal outfit is some dress chino pants for men, a basic white shirt like this, okay? And then I can just put a jumper on over the top if it's a little bit colder, and a jacket. Very, very simple. Then for shoes, okay, I just wear plain white shoes. Very, very simple. Not sneakers, like just nice, plain white, dress-looking shoes. Then, if you want to class that outfit up, it's very easy. All you do is you just get a white dress shirt and just put a white dress shirt on, the exact same type of pants, put a belt on, and put dress shoes on. Now, if you have 4 different colors of like chino pants, and you have a few different dress shirts or maybe some other styles, but mostly white, you can make like 20 or 30 different outfits from that. But it's very easy each morning. Now, that's like day-to-day wear, and it doesn't matter if it's hot. That's usually, you can wear long pants and wear this short sleeve t-shirt. If it's hot, if it's cold, you can just put a jumper on. You may be a little different in the way you want to dress. And like I said, it's going to be individualized, but you should plan everything out. Another big saver is like, why do people wear white socks? What benefit do white socks really bring? Like, they don't go with much. You can tell when someone's an amateur if they're wearing white socks with, like, you know, business shoes. Why not just buy, like I did, 100 pairs of black socks? Do you know how easy that makes, like, washing as well, which I'm going to talk about later on, but do you know how easy that makes life? Just 100 pairs of black socks. Very, very simple, okay? Very, very simple. Now, I know you're saying, yeah, but doesn't that take away from, like, I like fashion, I like doing this, I like doing that. Here's the cool part, right? If you get a base of what you're pretty much going to wear each day, but then you walk down the street and you see, like, a fucking leopard print shirt, and you're like, fuck, that shirt's awesome. You can just buy it and wear it anyway. Just buy it and wear it. And then when you don't want it, you can throw it away, okay? But if you have a base list of what you're going to wear each day, you remove that decision massively from your life. Think, if you're the average person and you live for 77 years, and it might change through portions out your life, but if you take time to plan that small thing, do you know how much time you're going to save? Most people walk around, they're like, oh, fucking need new pants. They fucking come down. I'm like, why do you not have every pair of pants that fit you? Oh, I need to get them soon, or oh, I'm feeling too. It's like, bro, just get the pants. Get 5 pairs of pants right now. Spend a couple $100. Save yourself so much fucking time rather than constantly complaining. And you know, for me, the way I have my clothes is like, it's almost movement. I like clothes that I feel like I'm moving. So it might take you a few different places to find out where the chino pants fit from, or where the shirts that feel good, where they come from. But you want to, fucking going down, you want to optimize everything. Everything. And clothing, I feel, is the easiest that you can start with, because clothing doesn't really change. Food, you may have, like, different things might pop up. Maybe you find out you're lactose intolerant or this or that, and there's more adjusting. But with clothing to start with, you know, it's very, very simple. And usually once you find what you feel good in, you look good in, it's very, very easy. Now, if you have to go to work and have to dress a certain way, that's fine. But when you come home from work, you're probably not bumming around in your work clothes. Have outfits, okay? Have things that you can get straight into. And it saves you so much time when you wake up in the morning and you go, I know exactly what I'm going to wear. You can just pop it on. Now, that really leads down here as well, which is like laundry. So if you're constantly like, fuck, you know, I need to clean my clothes or whatever, have a look in your area like I did in my previous place before I went traveling, right? Most places will do like pick-up laundry service. So one day a week, they just come around and pick everything up. They steam clean, they wash, they do whatever, and then they bring it back to you. Folded, dried. Do you know how much time that saves? instead of washing shit yourself. And people are like, oh, but I couldn't afford that. And it's like $20 a week or whatever it is, $20, $30 usually for a service like that. And it may sound like a lot, but people will go buy $1,000 washing machines. And I'm like, that is legitimately, like, if I've got my math right here, and $1,000 washing machine, you get like an immense amount of fucking washes for that same price. Like pretty much a year's worth of washing. So, you know, and you might replace that every 3 years anyway. So wouldn't you just want to save that time? And plus, once you start factoring in, you know, timing, how much time you save, you'll look at it and you'll be like, why was I wasting my time washing my fucking clothes, hanging them up to dry, doing this? Pay someone to come, pick them up, wash them, bring them back, done, put them away. Do you know how much better that is for life? Oh, it's a massive fucking lifesaver. And the thing is, you might be saying, well, I can't afford these things yet. That's fine. You can, as long as you have the list there, you can work up and bit by bit by bit by bit, pick them apart. Like as Jordan Peterson says, scale back the dragon. Instead of trying to fight this whole dragon, look at ones that are achievable and scale it back. Now, this one is pretty much scalable back straight away because you have to eat. It doesn't matter how poor you are. Like, if you're watching this video right now and you're saying, yeah, but I don't earn much money each week, da-da-da-da-da, you have to eat. You eat anyway. You've been eating your whole life. Maybe you've been skipping meals or whatever, but, you know, you eat. Everyone can eat. And sure, healthier things may be expensive, but not really, okay? This is why you really need to be adamant with the way you do your food. And there are two ways you can do this. Number one, if you say, I like cooking and I like doing this shit, okay? Get all your ingredients delivered. Don't drive to the fucking shops. Nearly everyone, unless you live like super remote, can order food to be delivered to their house. Once the food is delivered, know exactly what you're going to have for the week so you're not going in and out and up and down, need more milk, need more this, need more that. Have the food, bulk cook it so that it's prepared, okay? And you know, if you have more capital, it becomes even easier. So like myself, every single day I wake up, I don't want to have to cook. I don't want to have to arrange shit. I fast for a little bit. Then I go, and then I usually work for a little bit. Then I go and I get my breakfast, okay? And it's like bacon, eggs, avocado every day. It's pretty much the exact same thing. And whether you think that's healthy or not, okay, that's up to you. That it actually is quite healthy. The fats from bacon aren't even that bad when you compare it with the way the diet's structured out. But I pretty much go get that every single day with a coffee and I have it ready, takeaway, okay? They know that I'm come down, I just call them like half an hour before, I just say, yep, it's my order again. Then I go down, I pick it up. It takes me like 1 minute to go get it compared to cooking and fucking around, okay? I have no cleaning and I can just eat. And then my meals each day, you can either, like I said, you have two options. You can bulk cook for the week and have everything sectioned out. It might take you 1 or 2 hours of time and then you can save all the other time, okay? Or you can just order in food like My Muscle Chef and get your whole fucking nutrition planned. Maybe you want a bit of variety. Maybe some weeks you want My Muscle Chef, some weeks you want to order and cook. But it shouldn't be. Like if you're saying, yeah, well, I like to cook each day and it's something I have a hobby with and something I have fun with, then you have to cut something else out. If you're trying to get rich and you're saying, well, I like to do this, usually it's a justification for being lazy. You say that, but then you also like to relax and watch a bit of TV and a bit of Netflix and this and that, and you have like 30 of these fucking things. Okay, if you want to get wealthy, it requires sacrifice. And this really isn't a sacrifice. I feel it removes a mass amount of clutter from your life. Plus, when you know what you're eating each day, it's very easy to track if something goes wrong in your body. If you're unhealthy or you have upset stomach or something, it's very easy to attribute it to what it is. Because you go to a doctor and they're like, oh, well, have you had any dietary changes recently? They're trying to pick it apart. You're like, no, my diet is flawless. It's the exact same thing. This. And if you're saying now, this is the main one I get for food, is people say, well, I like to be spontaneous. I like to do, it doesn't mean you can't be spontaneous. If I have the base food that I want there, and then some days I'll be walking and I'll be like, you know what, there's a steakhouse, fuck it, I'll just go get a steak. And I go and I get a steak and whatever else I want. Okay, you don't have to be 100% of the time. But you're never going to have to worry like, oh, I don't have food there, I don't have, oh, fuck, I need to go get this, oh, fuck, I'll just skip lunch, oh, I'll just get fucking KFC, oh, I'll just get this, I'll just get that. It's just always there, always ready. And then that mixes in with cleaning. If you do it in bulk or you order your food, there is no cleaning. Like if you do it in bulk, you're still going to have dishes which you can put in a washing fucking dishwasher and da-da-da-da-da. Or you can just package it up into containers so that you can eat it and then recycle them. Throw them out and recycle them. Very, very easy. All my meals from My Muscle Chef come in. I smash them. Plastic knife, plastic fork, everything goes to be recycled. Done. Done. Easy. I know exactly what I'm eating. I never have to worry about food not being there. If I want to go out and be spontaneous, da-da-da-da-da. And then any extra meals that weren't eaten, you can just either fucking, if you have dogs, throw them to the dogs, or you can freeze them, or you can fucking just throw them out, whatever you want. Okay? But it gives you that base. Now, the next thing, exercise plan. Most people don't have a consistent exercise plan. If you're not going to do something for one day, like don't do it for, if you're not going to do something forever, don't do it for a day. And so, for me, the easiest plan is taking quite a while to fucking around with MMA and everything. But for me, the easiest exercise plan that I think keeps me in the most relative shape and continuing growth, so I'm still making gains in strength and all kinds of different things, has been the Kino Body program. There's no affiliation, but it's just minimal effective dosage. I'm just training 3 times a week. I don't worry about my macros too much, just protein, but it's just 3 workouts a week. The exact same workout every week. No fluctuation, no change. And people say, well, there's no variety, there's no this. People like to use the variety excuse for not being consistent and meticulous enough to deal with the boringness of perfection. There you go. That's a Morgan Freeman level quote. If you want to get to a top 1%, which is what you're here for, because if you're trying to say, I want irregular results in my life, which is make a shit ton of money, you want to be in the top 1%, okay? But you're not willing to do irregular things. So whenever people ask me, like, why do you do, all the shit you do is weird. They're like, God, like, it's weird. I chat with people and they're like, so you have your laundry taken care of, you have your food, you have this, you have that. And then people try and make justifications like it sounds boring. You can say it's boring, or you can say you lack the ability of patience, is what it is. You lack the ability of consistency. You lack the ability of sacrifice to get to the 1%. So when you set out all these things, it eliminates all of this and it moves you, okay, out of the average. And the easiest way to think of it is, you are not going to get an unaverage result by doing what the average does, okay? If you want an unaverage result, you must do unaverage actions. You have to do something unique. So very, very simple. And then, like I said, the last one's like exercise plan. You can try out different things, but that works best for me. It's just 3 days a week. Remember, you want to constantly be optimizing these things, just little bits, but they're going to save you so much fucking time by just being like, okay, I'm going to write down what clothes should I be wearing? What food can I eat? What would my ideal exercise plan look like? And if you're stressing going, I don't have the money for the gym and that, this and that yet, that's fine. You just work with what you've got until you get enough capital that you can do it. Then you can leverage capital. The problem is people think, oh, once I get all this money, then I'll do it. And they never do. I meet people that make serious amounts more money than myself and they lack in every other department. You know, they don't speak other languages. You know, that they haven't read that often and they're not well read on different topics. You know, their body is not in shape, or my personal info is for sale. Their body's not in shape. Their body's miserable. Their body's this, their body's that. They don't optimize. And usually I can tell by someone's phone. When I go to their phone, they have 100 apps everywhere, 100 notifications popping up. They haven't turned off notification. They're just inviting chaos. So you know what? This is the last one, is phone. You know, remove all notifications. And if you're saying, yeah, but I won't see what fucking Susan says for work and then trust me, it's going to be fine. Trust me, it works out. Trust me, the amount of extra time you save, all the things that you think are the problem, okay, they're not. And you learn to get around them. And same thing, I justified for ages. All my businesses are online. I need to know exactly what's going on at each minute with my phone. When I removed it, okay, this year, I removed every notification from my phone. I got a brand new number that only 4 or 5 people have the number to. And I pretty much quit all social medias except for YouTube. And I do YouTube very scheduled. Like now, most of my time is content creation. My business is 5, 10, 20, 50x. Like it's just massively expanded. And all of my sales before come from focusing on like whether it was sitting there on Facebook Marketplace or whether it's on Instagram or whether it's running ads. And so what happens is you find ways to make it work without those things, which is ultimately the end goal. And then the last thing as well is something I changed recently is an international phone plan. Because I travel heaps, now I don't have to fuck around and change SIMs when I'm overseas and whatnot, what I was doing before to get my phone to work. I simply just bought a plan, the most expensive one, but not a plan. I bought a prepaid plan. So it's like $300 for the year. And it's got some mass amount of data. You can use it anywhere in the world, whatever the fuck. And then if it runs out, I can just top it up. I don't have to fuck around with plans and terms being changed and signing into business things and this and that. If it runs out, you just top it up. You're making everything carefree and hassle-free. Like becomes so simple. And so you might have watched all this and thought like, nah, I'm a slow. I'm gonna just do it however I want. No, I'm just playing with you. But this next one, if you're more focused on the business sort of stuff, the business advice should help you. So let's look to the business side of things. But I really think like all of this has been massive, and the best way to do it is like give yourself a year. Stick to one exercise plan, one type of diet, and you can branch out still. Not one set of clothing, but one fucking category of what you think you're gonna wear. A year of getting a cleaner, because I didn't talk about that, like a cleaner in to clean your house as well, so your house is always spotless. 1 year, just if you can afford these things, give yourself 1 year of it and watch the dramatic change in your life. Now let's look at the business, okay? Because your business wants to be the same thing, and this is so important. For me, this is what's worked the best. I switched from all of the different things that I was doing to focusing on one product / one service until it hits 7 figures, okay? One product, one service, one customer avatar until it hits 7 figures. Then you can start branching out. We're not Elon Musk's, okay? He's an anomaly. He's a special man. But here's a cool way. If I say you want to be different from the norm, right? Let's look at the normality of businesses who do 7 figures. What does a normal day for a business who turns over 7 figures look like? Well, they usually focus on one customer avatar. They have it penciled in. They've got one product or one service, and then they focus on doing the boring work over and over and over again. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just do the average of what those are doing, and we're going to get to 7 figures? Very cool. We can inverse that whole train of thinking. So, and it makes life so much easier when you're not trying to figure out what's this supplier got? Oh, fuck, this supplier's out, this, that. Like, if you just focus on one product, and I know this may sound infinitely hard and infinitely complex within your current business to do this, but trust me, if you can find a way to do it, it's going to save you a multitude of stress, heartache, and even if you have to give up everything that you have now and restart, I feel it's worth it. If you haven't hit 7 figures yet, or you're struggling, or you've been at this a few years and you haven't even hit 6 figures, I recommend just shutting down everything you're doing and starting again. Like it's start again. There's nothing wrong with starting again. Start again. Make the sacrifice of the little you have now for more later, and focus on one product, one service until it hits 7 figures. Okay? That ties in exactly the same. One website, one funnel. And then really that can focus into one advertising platform. You don't need multiple advertising platforms until you hit 7 figures. You should be testing all the different ones to see what works best. But once you find one that wins, just focus on that until you're turning over 7 figures a year. You don't need to be looking elsewhere. Like, for example, people will get a little bit of success on TikTok through TikTok ads. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to ramp up the remarketing on Facebook. I'm going to do this, and Google ads and this. And I'm like, bro, like you've had only a little bit of success on TikTok. Why not just focus on TikTok and getting really good at TikTok? You haven't saturated your audience on TikTok. You just need to get good there until you hit 7 figures, and then you can scale out. Now, get Xero, okay, or accounting software that you can automate processes. So inside of Xero, like you can set up automation so it knows that any payment from this website, okay, means an incoming payment, and that is this. Any fucking outgoing for outgoing for GoDaddy means that's an apps and services, and you can have everything automated and super clean with your accounting. It's online. You can make it super clean. Then if you don't have a bookkeeper, I recommend getting one in-house and someone that you can trust. Like I'm lucky I have my family and then an accountant, okay? But I'd have my family and then I have an accountant. You can just hire someone on Fiverr to do all of that and handle all that process for you so you're not sitting there doing it yourself. And then have an accountant handle the other shit. And that gives you like very easy ways to track, because you can look at your books and software like Xero will show you exactly your projections, where you're at, what it's looking like. You have your books taken care of daily. They're looking good. They're looking clean, on monthly if you do it on Fiverr. So you know where you're heading. You know what you're at. And then you have an accountant to make sure. And it's like you can trace back. If there's any problems, you're like, this. Software, bookkeeping, accounting. It's very straightforward. And it wastes zero of your time. Okay? And then this one is probably the hardest one that I had to develop. But it's also been the biggest changer for stress ever. Okay? A lot of people email my team. My team has a very strict rule. We just look for personal emails, which I'm working on completely removing. And soon, if I didn't have to use an email account to verify different accounts and all different things, I wouldn't even have an email. We wouldn't have a customer support email. There's a great novel, or not novel, there's a great book called The Best Customer Service is No Customer Service. You want to build out a platform that has no customer service. You look at the way Facebook has done things, like it's all AI, like it's like reply to these help forms, reply to this, reply that. And sure, you might get unhappy customers, you might get certain things, but at least you can just look at the data and then fix the data. There's no human emotion, there's no human involvement, and it removes, like, you know, if you upset one customer in an email, say your team's having an off day, they upset one customer, that leads to a chain of back and forth, 24 unhappy emails. That's time that you're paying for on the clock. That escalates to something else, to this, to that, and then they get a refund anyway, and you wasted this mass amount of time. Whereas if they were like, fuck it, you know, I've tried to message through, I've got a hold of no one because it's clearly just an automated fucking thing, they're just going to give up. People just give up. And that's, you want systems over people. It's just the better way to operate. And so I thought about it, but then I thought, how can I also provide an incredible customer experience? Well, I thought only people that are my customers should get customer service. It's customer service. Here's where 99% of people go wrong. They have customer service open to people who aren't even customers, and they get what I call dumb fuck questions. People who never intend to buy, people who say, let's collaborate, people who think they've got the next genius business idea but aren't willing to put in the work and want to leverage your audience, people with a million different questions before they want to purchase from you. They're not your customers. Don't give them customer service, and don't give them one-to-one time with a customer service agent or yourself. You can mass produce media and get far more effective leverage that way. So what do you want to do? You want to only have customer service for customers. And so, for example, inside my HiveMind program, it took me a long time to develop it. And I thought, how could I remove customer service? Well, I'd have a program where all my customers are inside one chat community. Imagine what that would look like. That sounds very fucking scary, because you have to make sure your product or service is very good, because otherwise you could get roasted instantly. So what does that make you do? And make sure that you're 100% confident in your product or service, which if you're not, okay, you shouldn't be selling anyway. You should be developing something else. So make sure that you're 100%, and it makes sure that your product is good. It quantifies these things. And then the best thing is, with a big chat room, as it progresses, customers help customers. So what happens is, customers handle other customers for you. And I learnt this by accident when I was building an affiliate army for e-commerce. I built out this big affiliate army of people to sell on their marketplace, and they get a percentage for every sale that they make, or a hard cap commission. And I learnt that affiliates would ask questions inside a Telegram, and then rather than me having to get on to respond, by the time I got around to it, other customers had already helped them, because people like to help each other. And then I thought, well, the best business in the world would be a business where every customer is constantly helping each other with a shared goal, but I can guide everyone towards that shared goal and also help out and also keep everyone in line. And that's how I developed the Hive. And I thought, imagine if I could push all my training into it, like one product, one service, one funnel, one thing, push everything in there. All the customer service is eliminated. There's no customer service at all. Then it's because all the sales and everything's coming from one single source. Do you know how easy that makes bookkeeping, especially at scale for an accountant? Sure, a lot of money may be moving around, but they're just like, it all comes from here and it all goes out there. So that is how you 100% clean up everything. Ask yourself, how can I make this better? Ask yourself that question today. Work through all of this. Then you can work through the business. And like I said, I'm dropping videos like this every single day in business training. I changed it from success secrets to business training, the playlist. I drop OnlyFans video, ecom videos, the whole lot to help you. Free here on YouTube, the source. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit subscribe. And more so than that, share this with a friend that you think could help. If you have a friend who's got a bit of a chaotic life going on and you feel like, oh, they're trying to do a business, or even just help them with their personal life to clean everything up, share this with one friend, okay? Just one friend. If you're listening to this as a podcast, share it with just one friend who you think it'll help. Because I wish I had this sort of stuff for me years ago. So, thank you all for watching. See you in the next one.